Nature has a way of taking beauty to levels that nothing can compare to. From the colors to the grace in which they fly, makes waterfowl beautiful.
You know, this week we're going on a tri-state duck hunt.
Light that bird up, light it up!
We're going to Oklahoma,
Yo!
Texas, and Wisconsin.
I've been trying to kill a canvasback my entire life.
It's the only species in North America that I haven't gotten.
After extensive research and talking to a lot of friends, Wisconsin turned out to be where I needed to go.
There he is.
There are 3 roads that lead to the same destination. There are 3 players seeking to achieve one goal. Why do I hunt? It's who I am.
Where do I find the passion? It's in my blood.
How do I keep going? It's what I live for.
We are the wildlifers.
You know, this week we're going on a tri-state duck hunt. And when I say tri-state, I mean we're going to Oklahoma, Texas, and Wisconsin. You know, when you start, looking at duck hunting outfitters, there's thousands of them. So, you can look at websites and Facebook, and the best thing is word of mouth.
It is very easy in today's day and time to find the absolute worst outfitter on the planet. It seems like everybody and their dog is an outfitter. It's so easy to just completely get taken for money and have no results to show for it. So I try really, really hard to do a lot of due diligence on these outfitters before I make a choice on where I'm gonna go. It's not as hard for me to find places to go because my network or my web of hunting contacts is vast. But for the person that doesn't have that web of contacts, one thing that I would say would be to write down a list of 10 or 15 questions, and when you're on the phone with this guy, you hit them back to back to back to back to back as fast as you can. Try to be annoying. And if one single time in there that person balks at that question or acts like he doesn't want to answer it, there's only one of 2 things it can mean. On one hand, it can mean that he is so good at what he does that he's busy and he doesn't need you, which means you don't need him. Or 2, he sucks and you don't need him then either. So the same result goes both ways. Wisconsin gave me, based on my research, the best chance to get a canvasback.
Of all of his years and all the ducks he's shot, he's never got to shoot a canvasback. So this is gonna get pretty special.
I've been trying to kill a canvasback my entire life since I was a little kid, and I've had one opportunity in the past, but I was too short to see over the edge of the duck blind. I was a little bitty kid and I didn't get to shoot at it, and that's the only one that I've ever seen in the decoys. After extensive research and talking to a lot of friends, Wisconsin turned out to be where I needed to go.
Well, we're in Wisconsin. I've never got to go duck hunting in Wisconsin, and this is going to be a first for Dan because Dan has never hunted canvasbacks.
I've always wanted to shoot a canvasback, and I've seen several, come in the spread when I was little, and I always never got to shoot because Dad was waiting on pintails to come in. So it's the only species in North America that I haven't gotten.
So it's going to be pretty good. Let's hope Dan gets his first canvasback. I just hope I shoot the first one.
Well, we get to Wisconsin and we're hunting this giant river, and the setup almost seemed more like hunting sea ducks in New England than hunting ducks any way that I had hunted.
The setup is sweet. I mean, we are getting in this boat. It's not just a boat that floats and drives. This boat folds up and it's the blind.
Well, as it starts to get daylight, we're just sitting there in the boat waiting on the shooting hours to become legal, and you just kind of start looking around, and it's really a beautiful place with the low-lying fog, and you know, there's kind of some mini mountains or big hills in the distance on the other side of the river, and some areas of the river is absolutely like a mirror of flat calm. In other areas, you know, there's a little bit of turbulence in the water.
It's in late November and it's cold.
There's birds flying around. It's really a beautiful place. There's ducks filling the skies everywhere, buffleheads skimming along the top of the water, swans flying by, which is really super cool. We've seen some canvasbacks fly by.
You know, I feel good about our chances. I mean, there's a lot of water. You know, I'm seeing a lot of ducks flying around. Anytime you get in a boat that looks like this, we're surely gonna kill some ducks.
Well, the hour's on us now. Shooting hours are legal. All we need now is the cans to show up, and I am ready to get one. I've waited a long, long time for this.
There he is.
First canvasback.
Somebody said duck's coming on the right, and I pull up, I pick out a big white pretty drake, pull the trigger, he falls. I got Molly sitting right there. I mean, this could not be a better culmination of this desire for me ever. Wildlifers is brought to you by Melon Creek Outfitters, raising standards, not fences. Barnes Precision Machine, USA made with unmatched performance. Wise Eye Smart Feeders, feed the guest, zap the pest, shut out the rest. We are the Wildlifers. Goals are something that we all have, while fulfilling them is part of life's adventure.
There he is.
Somebody said duck's coming on the right, and I pull up, I pick out a big white pretty drake, pull the trigger, he falls. I got Molly sitting right there. I mean, this could not be a better culmination of this desire for me ever, to have the best duck dog that I probably will ever own. And I just got a canvasback that I've been waiting for 3 decades to get. He's floating out there in the decoys. I get my old girl lined up on it. Molly, she bails off the side of that boat, just like Molly always does, wide open, everything she does. Goes out there, picks up the canvasback. Good girl. I've been waiting since I was a little boy to get a canvasback. That's way better than a 165-inch whitetail for me. I don't think everybody understands just how long I have waited to actually get a canvasback, and to have Molly bring it to me, that just made it even better than I'd ever imagined. Wow. Well, Molly's a beast. When it's duck hunting time, Molly is wide open. And that's a big current in that river. And you could tell she was bucking that current, and she's swimming hard, and you can see her washing this way. But there's one thing you can bet about Molly. There's only one thing gonna keep her from going to get a duck that I send her for, and that's if she dies.
No, I gotta look at it.
Oh, it's worth eating.
Let me see this thing. I'm looking at it first.
We've been trying for a while to get old Mueller to eat sardines. Nelson's trying a first sardine.
Dan and Richard decided to bring sardines. I mean, I use them for coon bait, and they've been on me for years to try to eat one of these things.
He said they're, you know, raccoon baits, and they're horrible and they're nasty. We never tried one.
Why would anybody eat that? Sure enough, they put this big old chunk. Is that his gut? Of a nasty
looks like a fish fillet.
Raw. Will this make me a man?
Yeah.
Nasty sardine on a cracker. Will this grow hair on my chest?
Yes.
Probably.
This is food for the gods, man. I mean, this is good stuff.
What? Dude, this video is already 42 seconds long for dogs. Let's go, 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 go. Go, bite down. Start chewing.
That's like tenderloin.
I threw it in my mouth. I was a little scared. It was, you know, could make me maybe throw up.
It ain't bad, is it? You go buy him a can now.
Yeah.
I was very surprised it wasn't that bad.
Way better than it smells.
It ain't bad.
I told
See
you.
there?
They're good.
Good thing we got 4 cans.
I'm not gonna say I got seconds, but I got that one down. Believe it or not, it smells way worse than it tastes.
Yep.
You know, overall in Wisconsin, it was a great experience for me.
We had a really, really great time with Epic Guide Service with Jake, and he did a phenomenal job. Everybody got ducks. Molly got to bring me the duck that I wanted more than any other waterfowl right to my hand.
It was a new way of hunting, and that is on a boat that is a blind, getting to shoot canvasbacks, get to hunt on that river.
I can't say enough about this trip or who we went with. It was absolutely beautiful. Everything went according to plan.
It was a great time in Wisconsin. I can't wait to get back up there.
And I'm gonna have a really beautiful duck mount for my house for a long, long time because of it. This segment is brought to you by Barnes Precision Machine, USA made with unmatched performance. When one adventure ends, another begins. We don't just do this for ourselves. We do this for our dogs as well. I wanted to hunt ducks in Oklahoma, and I had no idea where to do it. Did a little research, got this name, and pretty much asked Richard Jankowski to call him, see what he thought.
You know, I think through a buddy and through some website searches and stuff, he found these guys. And
he calls me back 2 or 3 hours later and goes, "We're all booked and here's the dates." And I'm thinking, oh my God, we didn't do any diligence, we didn't ask any questions. I didn't mean for Richard to book the hunt. I just thought he'd call him and feel him out, but I guess he did, and he booked it, and I'm sure glad he did. Well, we drove up to Oklahoma yesterday. Dustin got here earlier this morning. Say that this pond we're hunting is just absolutely loaded with pintail and widgeon. So it ought to be fun. The temperature is nice today. It's like 45 degrees. It's not even cold out here. Let Mick and Molly and Remy do their thing and go pick up the ducks. It's really why we do it anyway. Well, we get there and we get set up the first morning on a pond. Really similar to a lot of the hunts we do here in Texas, but you know, the guides were absolutely great. They worked their butts off well before daylight to get everything ready to go. Cade is an awful good guy. Grant is absolutely hysterical and has the most powerful mullet I have ever seen in my life. I mean, Joe Dirt would go into hiding if he saw Grant Gardner's mullet. Well, we got the blind set up, we got all the decoys in place, we got the dogs ready to roll. All of us are locked and loaded, and now we're just waiting on the light to get right.
Light that bird up, light it up!
Kill him on the right.
after daylight, I mean, the ducks start falling in there. I mean, they are coming in, and it's really amazing how many different species of ducks that we are shooting.
Kill him! Shoot him! Shoot him! Shoot him!
It's pretty easy to find guides that get bored with what they do unless they truly love it. And Grant definitely truly loves what he does.
Kill him! Shoot him! Shoot him! Shoot him!
And they're just bombarding the decoys, and it is so beautiful, and the hunt is so great.
Kill light him! That bird up! Light him up! Light him up! Yo! Try him!
We'd get up and we'd shoot the ducks. Well, another time, you know, they go ducks, 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 and we get down in the blind, and he's calling, 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 and Cade's calling, and he starts screaming, "Make it rain!"
Make it rain on him! Make it rain!
And there's one duck. We're like, that was kind of an overkill for the one duck, but we got him. But these guys are so super energetic, and they love what they do so much.
Kill him! Kill him! Kill him!
I just got a canvasback. I went all the way to Wisconsin to do that. I just got back from going all the way to Wisconsin to hunt canvasbacks, and I just got one in Oklahoma. Isn't that cool? My overall impression of Goose Reaper's Guided Outdoors is very simple. There's a lot of places that you shouldn't go duck hunting, but this is not one of them. These guys know their game. They work their butts off. They're great people. They're very nice. They've turned out to be good friends. I'm already booked to go back.
You know what? We're going to go back next year, and I can't wait to see what they have in store for us.
They're the kind of people that even if you went there and the weather or what the ducks or whatever didn't cooperate, and you didn't have a spectacular hunt, you can leave there 100% knowing that those guys did everything in their power to make your hunt a success. How far can waterfowl travel in 8 hours? A, 800 miles, B, 675 miles, C, 450 miles, D, 1,000 miles. This segment is brought to you by Wise Eye Smart Feeders. Feed the guest, zap the pest, shut out the rest. With a 50-mile-per-hour tailwind, migrating mallards are capable of traveling 800 miles during an 8-hour flight. The pursuit of waterfowl has caused many friendships that distance otherwise wouldn't allow.
Now we're going to finish up our tri-state hunt we're going to South Texas. We're going to Port Mansfield, which is about 3 hours south of here.
I hunt ducks virtually every day in Texas when I'm home, throughout the whole season. And earlier in the year, I get a text from a guy that says, "Hey, why don't you come down to Port Mansfield, Texas, which is way south of me. Come do a duck hunt down here with us." I didn't really take it too seriously. I mean, why would I book a hunt in Texas when I can go right here in my back door and have some unbelievable shooting? I figured, you know, let me call a buddy of mine and see if he knows this guy, because they're from pretty much the same town. So I called Andy and I said, "Hey, do you know Danny Adams?" He's like, "Yeah, man, he'll put you on a good duck hunt," so forth and so on. Well, I completely trust Andy. So we went down to Port Mansfield and met up with Danny and just had a spectacular hunt.
You know, here we are in Port Mansfield, and typical duck hunt, you start very early, you get up really early in the morning, and we meet at the boat ramp, and we're getting on airboats today.
And it is extremely windy, so you know it's going to be rough, because airboat is not made for rough water. That's not what they're all about.
You know, the guys, they've been scouting, seeing ducks feeding in this one area, and they know where they're going and coming. And
Danny has this little old bay, is pretty much completely landlocked. We get set up in there, and the numbers of ducks in South Texas is just absolutely staggering.
Doesn't take long, and here comes the ducks.
I mean, we're barely set up 5 minutes, and you know, the redheads mainly are just covering us up.
You know, for me to shoot a duck and have my dog go get it, that's pretty cool.
And it's blowing, I don't know, 35, 40, 45 miles an hour, absolutely screaming. Ducks flew really well. Tough shooting them, but we got our limit. It was a really excellent hunt. I just love duck hunting, but kind of funny though. That's the only bullet I have left. Well, I think that the duck season was a phenomenal success with Wisconsin and Oklahoma and the trip down to Port Mansfield, Texas. You know, limits were made, friends were made. I got a canvas back, which pretty much was the highlight of the year for me. Most importantly, Molly and Mick got to pick up a lot of ducks, furthered their experience, which makes them even better. Dustin's dog did great, which I know he truly enjoyed.
And all in all, hey, it was a great trip. We had a lot of fun, met some new people, killed a lot of ducks, and can't wait for next duck season.
The only thing that we really have to get after now is a king eider and a harlequin duck. That's next. Closed captioning by Vault Aviation, a different kind of whitetail.